welcome back to the walkthrough, and today we're gonna take a short diversion away from the police chases, and we are gonna do this this race wars right here. This is an interesting race wars, and you'll see why in just a bit. Now, the competition is trivial, let's just put it that way. You're gonna basically blow them out of the ballpark. But I thought the racetrack is an interesting one, so I thought that's worth highlighting here. It's also a good reprieve from the pursuits that we've been doing, the rather intense, nerve-wracking pursuits with the police. So this car is actually a very, very powerful car. And the racetrack is it's straightforward. You start off at the highway. The competition is trivial. You have no problems at all defeating them. It's interesting because this car is actually powerful enough to defeat Darius. So that is interesting. And the question is, which track allows us to obtain this car? Well, one of these challenge series does. But for now, we're gonna destroy the competition. Now, I said that this racetrack is an interesting one. Why is it the case? It is one of the longest. That's one of the reasons. It's also one of the highway tracks where you actually drive on the highway, which again, you don't do that in the main career, or at least so far all of our races, there isn't that. So there's that. So the first thing is we're gonna go to the highway. And then afterwards we're gonna go all the way up to Silverton, and then we'll go down back to Campton via the city. So I thought that race concept is an interesting one. It is a long race, I will grant that. So there is that as well. I think after Need for Speed Carbon, I will still do some walkthroughs, but I'm not gonna do some commentary on it. I'm just gonna play the game. I'm also might not upload it regularly, but you can be sure that once I start again, I am committed to complete it. That's just me in general. When I start something, I like to see things to the end. You know, see things have a nice way to wrap things up. And I think that's very, very nice way to do that. So yes, welcome to Silverton. And then turn in, oops, darn it, into this one over here. Now the funny thing is that we won't be in Silverton for so long. We're gonna go back down right about now. So that's a good 2 minutes. What that means is that halfway of the race is 2 minutes, so one lap is 4 minutes and 2 laps is 8 minutes. So that is as well. I'm just gonna nitrous my way through, because why not? Since we have it, let's just use it, right? I mean, I could do it without nitrous, but I think it's fine. I remember the first few parts I insisted on not using nitrous, and then after getting the RX-7, I was like, let's try not using nitrous again, and eventually I'm like, whatever, let's just use it and finish this as quickly as possible, right? If you get what I mean. So there's that. Recently I bought a book on stochastic finance. I'm not sure if I shared about this, but I do have basically 3 math books lying on my desk right now, which I do intend to dive into after the busyness of my work is done. I'm almost done with the heavy part of my work, the time-consuming part of my work, and then once that's over, then the rest of my work actually is pretty relaxing, I would have to say. So that is rather interesting as well. Yep. So my intention, therefore, is to sort of learn the math in these books. I'm also learning driving. I think I mentioned this before. Due to some inconvenient events, I was supposed to have my driving test earlier, but it got delayed, roughly speaking. But it's okay. the process is that you have to pass the theory test, and then afterwards you have to do some practicals of various kinds and natures. You have to book this thing called a simulator, so you have to sort of attempt driving while using the simulator. I think a grand total of three rounds. That's very important. And then after that, you get to do a final theory test before you can be on the road driving, which is ironic because how am I learning driving while playing a game which basically says break all of the rules out there? But it is what it is. Then afterwards, my friend encouraged me to drive actively for 1 year to get used to how driving works. Use BlueSG, use various means if you would, after I get my license, which honestly, done rightly, should take, I would say, 6 months. Right? But even then, I don't intend to race every single race. I don't intend to drive every single day. I intend to do it maybe once a week or twice a week. And of course, with the extra time that I'm not driving, I do want to learn math. So I did mention before I have 3 books lying on my desk. I do want to attempt 1 or 2 of them, or maybe all 3 of them. So I might do that. Maybe like the first book I'll do on Monday. So the first one, I actually done this module before, but I think it's worth trying it again. It's called Principles of Math Analysis. So the idea being that I will look at the proof. I'll look at the statements. I'll look at the proofs, and then I'll attempt the exercises. The only note taking I'll do is the results, because I think that's worth taking notes. Everything else for the exercises, I'll just handwrite them in a notebook using pencil and whatnot. I think that's totally fair. So that the first book is on analysis, undergraduate elementary analysis, a bit of Lebesgue theory, but it's worth sort of just re-looking at that now that I'm out of university. The second book I have is on combinatorics. I think I mentioned this before, but I think that's interesting. Again, another topic which I never really learned well when I was an undergrad, prior to entering university. And the third book I sort of mentioned just now is one on stochastic finance. I think that's the progression of difficulty, as you can tell. Both the first 2 books are more on the undergrad level, and the last one's more of a grad level. Now, that being said, I do have one more thing I have in mind, and that is to actually try to sort of go back to my research. So in one of my past Mario parts, I believe it's 6.4 or 6.3, I did mention before about the research paper, right? But I didn't really establish the most general result that could have been established. So my intention is sort of to go back to that and to try to establish those results once again while I have free time. So maybe I'll work on it once a week or whatnot. It definitely won't be taking up all of my energy. It definitely wouldn't be, I wouldn't be stressing over it every single day. Although I probably have it in the back of my mind, just as a background task. Musing over the possible ways to solve the problem. So there's that. So I do intend to do these things later on. I don't know how much of it goes on YouTube, but for now I think that's worth it. I don't intend to be on YouTube too active for now. We'll finish Carbon first, and then we'll plan things later on, eventually. And with that being said, thank you all for watching this part of the walkthrough. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more awesome videos to come.